Hello, and welcome to episode 61 of the Casual Tryhard Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And today...
we have kind of a weird episode today.
It is. It's a little all over the place. It's kind of newsy.
It's very newsy. We also have some show things that I want to talk about. There was a whole bunch of news today from Wizards. We're going to talk about all of that.
Some Wizards Incompetence got us some content.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk Arena. We had an Arena announcement we get to talk about. We're going to finish up our finance thing.
Yeah, there was a standard GP.
There was a standard GP.
In Europe, so I assume all those people have coronavirus now. So what a way to go out.
Yeah.
So we'll touch on that ever so slightly.
Yeah, they didn't. There was no coverage for it.
No, not at all.
So
I didn't even remember seeing like a whole lot of like pictures on the CFB like Facebook page.
Yeah, no, there was actual no coverage, not just text coverage. It was actual zero coverage, supposedly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So no nothing.
Esports.
If a GP happens and nobody hears anything about it, did it actually happen?
The only reason I knew what happened was they sent out a tweet about the metagame.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I've seen charts like that before.
Yeah.
So if you want to tweet at us when you're at a GP and let people know what's going on, you can get at us at Casual Tripod.
Yep. You can find us on Facebook at Casual Tryhard MTG. Shoot us an email, casualtryhardmtg.com. We actually got an email from a listener this week who I spent many, many hours crafting a perfect response to. Perfect. We
are here at your disposal.
Yep. We have our Patreon up and running, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. We got our first Patreon follower supporter, so thank you.
Thank you.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
If you have any Patreon tier ideas, shoot those to us. I kind of came up with one thanks to the person who got at us on Friday, I believe. George had some questions about a couple decks he was working on and said this might be a decent tier reward, and it kind of is.
Yeah, deck critiques.
He shot me 2 lists and asked me what I thought of them and how we could make some changes going forward, so I did.
So now sitting here thinking about the list that I looked at, Did you suggest the pizza oven?
I did not suggest the pizza oven.
When you playing a bunch of 0-mana artifacts.
Well,
pizza oven.
I mean, I guess 2 of them are artifacts. He had an experimental frenzy.
Okay, fair enough. Oven-ish.
Yeah, and Dad's house.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
I don't know that you need the oven. Anyways,
then there's our affiliate link when you're going to buy cards, and we're like rapidly approaching a new set.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go buy some stuff, go to tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com.
Yep, we get a very small portion of whatever you spend there.
Yeah.
Helps us out, so please do that.
Also, give us some ideas of what you guys want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
We've been kind of standard Pioneer, newsy stuff recently.
Yeah. If there's, any other format you guys feel we're neglecting, like Modern, Legacy, something else.
I mean, if people in your area are playing Modern, that's awesome.
Yeah, I want to come see you.
People in our area are not playing Modern.
At all.
So
yeah,
we've not really cared about Modern too much.
Yeah, I haven't. Occasionally I'll catch a random, updated Jund list, because that's kind of my baby. But other than that, I really have no idea what's going on in Modern.
Croaks is apparently Lingering Souls.
Yeah, you like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, let us know, because we're talking about what we're playing,
right,
and what we're seeing.
Yeah, what we see. If there's something that you guys in particular want to know about, or sometimes we get caught up in, the new shiny thing, talking about news stuff, or if one of the listeners comes up with a good question we want to cover on the show, we'll get caught up on that and kind of forget about some of the rootsy stuff that we kind of made the show for. We kind of made the show to talk about growing as a player and, some things you need. And we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. So if you guys want us to get back to that kind of stuff, let us know. And make sure you tell everybody about us. Tell all your friends and your play group and random people at your local game store.
Yeah, we can use the listeners.
Yeah. So, every little bit helps.
Yeah. If you enjoy us, maybe other people will.
Yeah. Hope so.
Hopefully.
I checked our some of our statistics in Podbean on Sunday, I guess, when I wrote this.
Okay.
And we've got a couple episodes coming up on like 400 downloads.
Hey, there we go. We're getting there.
we are getting there. And some of them aren't even that old. Which kind of brings me to another point. Like, we've got some really great episodes like in our back catalog. And again, a lot of it is that stuff where we're trying to help you grow as a player. So it's not all like, current newsy, current events, whatever Twitter's blowing up about. There's a lot of gold back there.
Yeah.
So if you get a free couple minutes, check out our back catalog and listen to some of those episodes.
The like the playing in paper stuff.
Yeah, that was really good.
Like kind of supercut, like kind of greatest hits episode that we put together is just a good place to go if you want to learn how to like the basics of playing in paper. Mm-hmm. Or was it George who said that his son started playing, and this is kind of, or was it someone else?
No, that was somebody. That was somebody that left us a message on Facebook.
But like, so this person, their kid started playing, and they didn't know much about Magic, and they found us somehow. Thank you.
Yeah.
And like that kind of thing. Like, here are the things that you need to buy, and like the kid needs to have, and stuff like that, to just like kind of get up to speed. Like, if you know someone who's new to the game, just like here's a list of all the stuff you need.
Yep. And here's an episode that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, going back to our Patreon a little bit. We've kind of grown to a point where we need to figure out what the next step is, right?
We do. Like, we've got a good, I think, core audience.
Yep.
And we need to figure out if we wanted this to stay this size.
Right.
Or try to make it bigger.
Yep.
The Magic podcast game is a crowded spot, but I think we have our own little, like, niche.
Oh, yeah. There's certainly things that we do a lot differently than most of the other shows do.
Yeah.
We're just two guys.
We're just two guys.
Like, I don't think any of the other ones are like just two random guys.
Yeah, we try. I'm
not saying we don't try, but
we debuted some GPs, some hand.
Oh, sure.
You played in RPTQ.
I played in multiple RPTQs. Thank
you. I've made it to the finals of many a PTQ and not one, but so
yeah. But like, I guess what I'm saying is we're not like Magic pros.
Yeah, we're not.
So we don't come at you guys from, a point of view of, well, this is what I'm going to play to spike this tournament.
Yeah, or
because that's not like our strong suit. Our strong suit is, relating to everybody and, spreading our little bits of knowledge out there instead of, the finer points of metagaming.
Yeah, or like, hey, I played 35 hours of Magic Online this week.
Right.
And this is the absolute best version of this deck for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And if you have a tournament for the next 45 minutes,
get on this.
Play this deck.
Yeah. There's plenty of content creators out there that do that kind of stuff. So we're not like trying to be them. We definitely have our own, our own strengths. But I think both of us would kind of like to do a little bit more as far as like maybe a little bit of streaming or some like gameplay videos, some more deck techs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And because both of us have jobs and families, we kind of need more time to do that.
We do.
And we kind of had a little discussion on Friday about maybe finding somebody to do some editing for us. And we looked into that and found that it's way outside of our budget for this show that we come out of pocket to make every week.
I mean, our budget fairly is basically zero.
Yeah.
So anything is out of our budget.
Right.
But yeah, just like looking... And the edit I give the show is, I think, different than what we would get for
probably
like me randomly finding like someone, and then what they would cost to do my edit would probably be way more.
Yeah,
but like that would help just to free up time to like do more stuff. So I'm not just playing like mono red in the background.
Yeah,
like I could actually like tinker with an idea and like put something together,
flesh it out.
Yeah.
So a way to get there is by hooking us up on Patreon. Yes. Just throw us $1 or $2 or $3 or whatever you can do. Especially if you like the content and you want to see us do some more. It would really help us out and kind of shape at least the picture in our heads of like the direction where we should take the show.
Yeah. I mean, we're not saying we're going to like quit doing this next week if you don't pay us.
No. Well, that's not what I meant at all.
Yeah,
but some, like I said, we're growing and we're to a point where I think we need to evaluate some things and figuring out where exactly Patreon could go or things like that would really help us out.
Yeah. And like we said, if you want us to do modern and pioneer content, let us know. We do have our own like Magic Online accounts.
Yep.
we have dabbled in card rental services.
Yeah. That's another thing,
with
though.
Mixed
like
results.
That's another like expense, though.
Yeah,
like if we're using that to provide content for the channel, that's kind of another expense we got to come out of pocket for.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to see some of that stuff, throw a couple bucks in the Patreon, and we'll see what we can do.
Let us know.
Yep. Right now, the tiers are just kind of there to be there. So like if you decide to go over to Patreon and help us out a little bit, don't pay a whole lot of attention to what's in the tiers. We promise that, if we get some people that are actually contributing, we'll go through and make some real tiers. Right now, I just kind of use the cookie cutter ones that they recommend. So most of them probably don't apply.
I can sign you some faithless lootings and that's your way.
Sure.
If that's what you want, like whatever.
Scribble on some, I don't know, matching basic lands and send them to you if you want.
There you go. There you go.
Green and or black lands.
You should just make James sign all planes. Just like...
Oh, please don't do that.
$20 a month. Carson will sign you planes.
Yeah. But we'll figure that out. And if you can't do anything on Patreon, just shoot us a message. Even if you just shoot us a message on Facebook or email or Twitter or wherever, and just kind of, let us know what parts of the show you really enjoy, what parts aren't really applicable.
Yeah, what you'd like to see us do more of, because we can tailor it a little bit.
Yeah, anything to help us out. And
right now, we have it down here. This show is kind of, it's keeping us on some level connected to Magic, because our old play group, for whatever reason, has kind of scattered to the wind.
Right. Well, I mean, that happens. That's part of Magic.
It does. The people that are now playing at our store
aren't really the type of player that we're used to playing with. And
there's a bunch of Commander players.
Yeah.
And then on Fridays there's a bunch of drafters.
Yep.
Which I used to draft a lot, but I haven't drafted as much recently.
Mm-hmm. And
there's a very small group of constructed players.
Yeah.
So there's not that same we're doing 6-person tournaments.
Right. And like I said, on top of that, we're used to playing with some very competitive players.
Yeah.
And kind of scraping to get people to play a tournament. A lot of the players that are even mildly interested in playing, a little bit of Standard or Pioneer really aren't the most competitive players. You know what I mean?
And then
nothing against them.
Yeah.
It's just.
And then they get turn 5 with Inverter.
Yeah.
These things happen.
Yeah. And that's not really.
Yeah.
It's not the experience that you want to give somebody who's not a super competitive player. And it's not really an experience that you want to have either. You know what I mean? That doesn't help you grow as a player. Yeah, the show does kind of keep us going as far as our Magic activities.
Yeah, I tried to brew up a new version of the Sultai deck.
Yeah.
It was bad. I think I ended up going 1-6 or 5. It was bad.
Yeah, that's not great.
Bad. But yeah, I mean, I was doing that to see if I could find something for the show, and I took some things away from it that I want to try. But I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's partly why I did it. If not, I would have just got my 4 wins and just been okay.
Now I'm done.
Yes. All right.
So we got some Wizards of the Coast sponsored content.
That's right.
Not actual sponsored, but they gave us some stuff to talk about.
So last Monday, they did the most WOTC thing ever. They made an announcement about an announcement.
That's right.
They're in a week, we're going to announce the B&R.
Yep.
And you were kind of left to
wonder which formats were going to be affected. Yeah.
And I was positive that they were going to ban something out of Inverter.
I think everybody was expecting something to go out of Inverter.
And there are no bans in Pioneer.
Right.
And they did the thing that they did with Marvel.
Yeah.
Which they're hey, idiots, this deck only wins 49% of its matches.
Yeah.
And it has a bad matchup against the top 5 decks in the 5 of the top 10. So why are you even playing this? It clearly doesn't need banned. You guys just are on the wrong deck.
Yeah.
And it's but every event I watch that plays Pioneer, you just pencil 3 to 5 Inverter decks into the top 8.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that there are 3 people that go 12-2 and 12-2-1, and then there are 8 people that are going a little under 500.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, what I'm seeing with my eyes when anyone plays for money is this deck wins.
Yeah.
But then you're like, yeah, when someone's in their underwear playing Magic Online,
yeah, whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah.
If you have to play it. So it didn't make any sense to me. I think Pioneer is fine in terms of what you can play. But it was just, and it might be, you mentioned, we were talking about this on the Messenger or whatever, that it's fine to have a best deck. And if Inverter is the best deck, fine.
Right.
It just seemed like it was in that weird spot, like where I think the thing that was most similar to this was in Legacy 2 years ago, when like every event like was just, of the 32 possible slots for Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
Deathrite Shaman was had 27 or like 22.
Well, that's a different issue though, because Deathrite was in like a couple different decks.
Yeah,
it's not like Inverters being played in 4 different decks.
But just the hey, this card or this like archetype, because it was mainly though in like Grixis Delver.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this archetype could just keep showing up over and over and over again. And usually they start getting a little like leery of things when it's, oh, hey, half of our top 8s are the same deck.
Yeah.
So maybe there is some like secret tech that no one has like talked about.
I don't know that there's secret tech. Well, okay, 2 things. Part of it is that Pioneer is really new, and people have already like bought into and had decks banned out from under them.
Yeah.
So I don't know right now in Pioneer like how much people are still innovating, like their current decks are trying to tweak them or whatever to try and combat Inverter, because like the format's still new.
And they might just assume like, why put in the effort because
it's just going to get banned. Yeah. So the first thing is I don't know like how much effort's really been put into trying to beat Inverter. And second thing is I understand that Inverter is really powerful. Like the deck in general is very powerful. And that traditionally, I'm looking at you, Splinter Twin, control grindy decks that have a combo finish are very good.
Yes.
But I don't think like that's a bad spot for, quote, best deck in the format to be. You can interact with the combo if, you know what I mean? Like Thoughtseize interacts with it pretty well. Counter Magic interacts with it pretty well. And if you're, playing a grindy deck, like you can build your deck to outgrind a Jace.
Yeah. I will counterpoint.
Okay.
By
beating me last Friday?
I had 2 players.
Yeah.
Unmoored Ego, Inverter. Well, playing Sultai.
I mean, that's what I mean though. Is like if the current thing to do against Inverter is bring in 2 Unmoored Egos and that's fixing your game. Well, right, that's not going to do it because all you did was take away the combo finish. Like you didn't do anything to address what the deck is doing, like the grindy control deck that it can play. If you start building your deck in such a way where, main deck, maybe you can combat the, grindy control stuff, and then you bring in your Unmoored Egos, like you know what I mean? Then that leaves Inverter and, maybe not the best deck anymore.
Yeah. But it's just that like it doesn't need the combo. And like the other grindy deck in the format, Unmoored Ego'd me, and got ground out.
It did. So I don't know. I think I need to spend more time with it. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that it's not most combo decks. If you were to Unmoored Ego their combo,
they just lose.
They just lose.
Right.
Or usually these decks like this, you're able to like bring in a particular card to shore up your matchup. And this doesn't have that. There's not a card you can bring in.
Well, it's not like susceptible to traditional hate cards.
Traditional
like,
interaction,
None of the like what you would look at and call a sideboard card is effective against this deck. Other than Unmoored Ego, which, like you mentioned on Friday, I hate those kinds of cards anyway.
Yeah.
And that's why I hate those cards, is because you bring them in as a silver bullet against something you have a problem with, and then it ends up not mattering. You waste your turn 3 and a card out of your opening hand. Maybe you kept kind of a sketchy opener because it had an Unmoored Ego and you knew you were going to stop the Inverter. Like, it just leads to bad decisions. Those cards always lead to bad decisions.
Now, in defense of Inverter, of Unmoored Ego, I did lose a game because I had 2 Jaces in my hand and one on my deck, and you inverted Jace, and I drew the last 2 cards in my deck, replacing the Jaces in my hand, and had no cards in my... So, give and take.
Yeah. I mean, you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah,
though. Like
exactly.
we've talked about my view of those kinds of cards before.
Yeah, it's just that I thought that this particular deck, putting up the results it has for kind of the length of time it has... Now, granted, the deck's only like 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And maybe in 6 weeks we'll be like, Inverter isn't all that good.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but like I said, like I haven't. All I did when I put my Sultai list together was like copy paste from like a list that I found. I don't play enough to tune a list, especially like Sultai Delirium. Well, especially like Delirium. Like that deck has a lot of moving pieces and a million one-ofs. It's really hard to get a deck like that like nailed down, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just don't have the time for it. So when we were playing, granted it was only like one match and then like one match the week before or whatever, so it's not like I have a ton of experience, but like at no point did I feel like I could not win that game. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was never to the point where, I'm just done. I might as well scoop them up. Yeah. I think everyone is a little bit jumping the gun. Yeah, I know you're on the side of, something needs to get banned, and maybe something does, but
it might just be because we were kind of programmed with like anything that like 155% of its games went away.
And I think that's part of the problem too, is for the last, 2 years now, 3 years now, whenever something was, even remotely a problem, it got smacked in the head with a ban hammer. Like nothing ever lasted. Whenever there was something good, it was always just whack-a-mole out of existence. Yeah. And I think that kind of leads to some bad feedback loops.
Yeah, it does.
Where you don't spend the time with your deck anymore. You don't try different, deck building options. You just wait for the ban hammer to fall.
Yes. All right, next up is Modern. Mm-hmm. And we have banned the Pokemon card in another format. So Once Upon a Time is banned now in Modern.
It is.
My foil copies are becoming less and less valuable as we speak.
You can still play them in Legacy.
Yeah, in Legacy might be playable again.
Maybe.
So Once Upon a Time, the Primetime decks are still going to be good, but Once Upon a Time really held those together recently, like being them way more consistent.
Yeah, I kind of... Did you catch any of this argument I had? Was I out of line, or was that pretty much where you think?
Like, so the argument that we had, I looked at bits and pieces of it, was basically by banning Once Upon a Time, they made a bunch of the creature combo decks worse. Right. And so they went down in power level more than
the Primetime
decks. The Primetime decks. Yeah. And I don't know, on some level, Once Upon a Time was clearly not Primetime's 9 through 12, right? But maybe Primetime's 9 and 10,
maybe,
right? And then we're also extra Field of the Deads and extra Valakans and just generally.
And they found your Dryad,
extra land drops in general.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of my point, is that this person that I was talking to had mentioned that they wish something else went, or they wish they had made a different change, and Once Upon a Time is kind of an absurd Magic card. That's why it's not card. Yeah, it's not allowed in any format because it's just stupid. It's a free spell on turn 1. You can keep basically any hand that has a Once Upon a Time in it because the Once Upon a Time is going to fix it. And then later in the game, it's not dead. It finds you whatever piece you need next. And it's a reasonable rate.
I have I put depths together and I don't have Sylvan Scryings in it anymore. Yeah. They're just Once Upon a Times.
Yeah. I think Once Upon a Time's way better.
Between Elvish Reclaimer and that, it's just cool. I'm always going to have a way to find my piece.
Mm-hmm. And we kind of talked about Once Upon a Time back when it was just getting banned out of Standard too. Yeah. How it just made every deck feel the same. Exactly. Because you had the same exact play patterns every game, because you kept, either your opening hand was Goose Once Upon a Time Oko, or Oko Once Upon a Time, or Oko Goose, and it didn't matter what combinations you had, as long as those 3 pieces added up to a turn 2 Oko, it didn't matter.
Right. I mean, basically, if your hand was you mulligan to Oko Once Upon a Time, and then either Goose or land, because the Once Upon a Time was the other piece. Yep. Or you and you got to keep the land goose Oko hands.
Right.
Or 2 lands and a goose Oko hands. So you had so many different versions of the exact same opening.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're mulliganing to, I need, land, bounce land.
Yeah.
And a prime time at some point. Well, Once Upon a Time just fills the land or the bounce land slot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that it'll probably hang around in Legacy because that's where free spells live.
Yeah, and also, I don't think anyone cares about Legacy, unfortunately.
There's a ban right after this.
Well.
But the card is just basically too good for all semi-normal formats.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to mention about, the prime time decks in particular is that the way they're configured right now is very different than they were, previous to this, I guess.
Yeah.
They're way more grindy, less combo-oriented, and they can do that because of Dryad. If you lose Once Upon a Time, you almost have to rebuild the deck.
Because you have less ways to find your Dryad.
Yeah, because you don't have... Your deck is a lot less consistent in assembling Dryad, Primetime, plus, whatever land you get.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they got the Dryad and got to change into this, hey, I have, the bounce land amulet stuff, but all my lands are also mountains, so I get Valakuts now, because the Amulet Titan decks used to not have Valakut in them.
Right, yeah, they were 2 different decks.
Yeah, and now it's kind of like they've been mushed together. Mm-hmm. And so the deck will become less consistent.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I don't think so either. I am down with the Once Upon a Time ban.
Okay. Next up, this is one that I was thinking was going to happen.
Yeah.
So this is Underworld Breach in Legacy is banned.
Yep.
So I looked around on Twitter for a bit, and Andrea Mangucci and LSV were both like, this is not great. Why did this get banned so fast?
Yeah. Yeah,
and then, what is his name? Brian, last name escapes me. The guy who invented Tess, the Epic Storm deck, was like, no. This card had to go.
Yeah. This
card was ridiculous. This card is broken. To the point where LSV tweeted, breaking news, man changed his opinion after Twitter interactions. He was like, it was Brian, whoever, and then this other person, I trust their combo bona fides, and they say it's too good. And like I said, I think I talked about playing against it, and it was just you just played like a game, and then it just ended.
Yeah.
And they were super consistent and resilient, and just oh, okay. It was really good.
Yeah.
And, I think the comparison was did you like Yawgmoth's Will, Lion's Eye Diamond, and 4 Mystical Tutors to go get your Yawgmoth's Will? If you didn't like that, you shouldn't like this. And it's fair. So, yeah, that card, when everyone saw it, everyone was like, this card's busted. Mm-hmm. And there was some pushback of, everyone showed me all their turn 1 wins, but what about interaction? It's yeah, fine. So they get to play Force of Negation to Fairy.
Yeah.
And then all this stuff. And then there was a Delver version.
Okay, I hadn't seen that.
Oh, there was a Grixis Delver version.
Okay.
That played Delver, plus also played 4 Delvers, a Kroxa.
Nice.
And then backdoored into
Storm.
the Underworld Breach kill.
Yeah.
So, you had to play, the 2 game plans, and it apparently was very, very good as well. That was...
that seems kind of sweet.
Yeah. But, so, it was just oh, okay. This is an issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, something that had to go. That card, we're going to look back on it and be oh, wow, this was a mistake.
That's kind of interesting. Kroxa's got to be pretty good in Grixis Delver, huh?
Yeah, they just had one, and they said it was just kind of the best thing you could do as
it's almost better than Zombie Fish.
Almost. I mean, Zombie Fish doesn't get pushed.
That's true.
This guy gets pushed. But other than that, it's bigger, it does more, and if they don't have a push right away,
yeah, I mean, it ends the game quicker.
Yeah. But it was just interesting. This is kind of the way people went, was
yeah.
There were a lot of decks where just we can put in the Underworld Breach kill in with another you deck.
Right.
Which is usually a bad sign.
Yeah. Makes things not long for this world.
This is the guy who, I think you sent the list out of someone had a Reanimator deck in Legacy. They got the Gashot.
Yeah. It was Logan tweeted that out, I think.
That had the hasty. They gets the hasty Gashot that when it hits, you like reveal cards and put dinosaurs into play.
Yeah.
Got Rotting Regisaurs that also just randomly had 4 Hex Mages in a Dark Depths.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is where we are. We're just like, okay, we're going to do this now. So Standard, unsurprisingly, has no bans.
Yep.
Standard is fine, though. I was just thinking the last night when I was playing, like, there are so many games in Standard that just, like, end up not being fun.
Yeah. I kind of think that's a function of Arena, though.
It might be just playing so much, whatever. I would like to point out that I was at 16 life, or 18, I think 16, and had a Cavalier of Thorns on the battlefield on my turn 4.
Yeah.
I passed the turn, and I died.
Yeah?
My opponent had gone Knight of the Ebon Legion, Dreadhorde Butcher, Annex, and then attacked me, and I blocked the Dreadhorde Butcher, and he put an Ember Cleave on an Annex and killed me on turn 4.
On turn 4.
Through a 5/6. So dealt 22 damage.
That was pretty good.
Killed me on. I was like, oh.
Oops.
That was fun.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of games that are just like, okay, cool.
Well, I mean, like Arena pushes you to play a whole bunch of games.
Yeah.
And it pushes you to be engaged, like, if not daily, at least multiple times a week.
Yeah.
And I think doing that kind of takes some of the specialness out of, like, FNM.
Getting to play, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It does. But there's just like a lot of the games just end up being like slogs.
Yeah.
Like you're either super grindy or you're like dead on turn 5.
Yeah.
And you're just like, this is great.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is just like there's so many big powerful things to do. If your opponent gets to do their big powerful thing before you do, you're just like, oh.
You got to sit there and watch or concede.
All right, so they didn't ban my Pioneer deck, but they banned my Wednesday deck.
So for Brawl, we have Golos.
Yeah.
Tireless Pilgrim is banned.
Yeah.
They said, like, their reasoning was kind of weird, and, like, I haven't played Brawl in a long time now, but their reasoning was he was too good a 5-color commander because he got to find lands to activate his ability and find lands to help pay for the commander tax the second time around.
Well, basically his commander tax is 1.
Right.
Where everyone else's is 2, because you play him on 5.
Right.
You get your 6th land.
Right.
Then they kill it if you have what would have been your 6th land in your hand.
Yeah.
And you should, because you should be playing like 28 or 30 lands.
Yeah.
You'll just play a land and you play him again. And one of the lands you got was a Field of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have some zombies.
Right.
And you get him back. It's whatever. Like they said, he was like 10% of all the decks. Like I think I rarely played like the Golos mirror. Basically, that's my go get 4 wins.
Yeah. Wednesday
thing. That's fine. We'll just go back to Tulane, and it'll be fine. Or
tell some tales.
Or I'll play
make some Cheerios.
Yorick.
Yeah, Yorick's good too.
But yeah, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine. If people are going to be more happy because Golos is gone in Brawl,
sure,
great.
Power to them.
Yeah,
those are the people that paid for their month-long Brawl subscription.
Yeah, and hey, we got to make those people happy. If they're going to give you $30 or $20 or however much it is to be able to use your program, then make those people happy, because I'm sure as hell not going to pay you $20 to play Brawl. Speaking of things that people don't do, there's been some updates to historic suspended and banned list.
Yeah, so if you don't know, they don't just outright ban things out of historic. They move to purgatory, basically, where they are watched very closely.
Well, they're like suspended, where they're banned. They're no longer in the format.
Right.
But they then can go revisit and decide if they're going to get rid of them or keep them. Yeah.
So like they want to make sure that people have used like all available options to like try and combat the issue before they ban something.
Yeah. Or here's where the metagame is. If we throw this card back in, what does it do? Mm-hmm. And so the cards that moved from suspended to permanently dead.
Right.
I'd say from the graveyard to exile. As Oko.
Surprise.
Because that card is probably not even reasonable in Legacy. It's not reasonable in any format.
It's not reasonable anywhere.
I listened to Magic FM, and I had seen this, but it just came up again that Oko is like top 12 to 15 cards in the Vintage Cube.
Really?
Like, there was like kind of on the level of Power.
Yeah.
You're just like, whatever they did. Like,
so it's like the Power 11?
Yeah, you're just like, Elkit, it's good. Yeah, Sol Ring is 10.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, Time Vault is 10, right?
Well, because Sol Ring's a higher pick than most of your other Power.
Well, no, I just meant like Power 9 is the Power 9.
Plus
Power 10 is like they had Time Vault.
Yeah, and then So it's one of those top cards in that.
Yeah.
Not good, not reasonable in like any format. Once Upon a Time.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, not reasonable.
Right.
And the Green Cryptic Command, Veil of Summer. Not reasonable.
Yep.
So those have all been banned.
Yep.
But what apparently is reasonable is Field of the Dead.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Yeah.
So your job is to now ramp into Golos and
break it.
Play some Fields of the Dead because that card's not okay either. I mean, it hasn't been banned in Modern yet. It won't be. It's
I don't think
probably
so.
Good enough power level for Modern.
Yeah, I think it's a fine power level for Modern.
But I don't know how it's a fine power level for Historic. Like, you're just... Like, now that they've put Bajuka Bog in as well, like, you just are like, you're just telling me I have to play Golos.
Right.
Okay. I guess I'll play 4 Goloses in my deck, and we'll figure this out. Okay. So, those are the bans. If anyone's playing Historic, I'm sure your queue times are like 20 minutes, because you're hoping that the Matrix just pairs you against yourself. But, yeah. I don't know anyone who's doing this, and even with them adding new cards to Historic,
I don't think I've ever played a Historic game.
I want to go back because I had like this like obnoxious Flood of Tears deck where you ramp into Flood of Tears and then you just bounce the board and just start replaying eggs. But I haven't bothered because I'm like, Omen of the Sea is a permanent.
It is,
and Omen of the Hunt is a permanent that ramps me.
It is.
Then I get to play more things when I like bounce things. It's like, oh, okay. But I haven't got back and like actually mess with that format. I think we look at digital Magic as a way to prepare for paper Magic.
Yeah, a lot of times I do.
And well, there is no paper Historic.
Right. Well, I mean there kind of is, but it goes back further and it's called Pioneer.
Yeah.
And if it was on Arena, I probably would never put pants on.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that and your lack of pants. So next up. So Wizards gave us content in the form of bans.
They did.
And they also gave us content because they gave an intern a pack of cards and he dropped them. He left them in a Zuber.
Yeah, so this came about like, okay, right now it is 6:56 Monday night.
Yeah.
This came about like actual 2 hours ago.
There are some people that are very strongly anti-leak.
Yep.
I'm not one of those people.
I'm not either.
So here you go.
Give me all the information.
You can fast forward to a point if you don't want to hear about this.
Yeah, we should pause for a second and let you know that we're going to talk about some spoilery type stuff. So if you want to stay surprised when we start getting spoilers in 2 weeks or whatever, fast forward approximately 15 minutes right now.
Okay. So.
All right, now that that's done. Somebody found one of the Ikoria Commander decks, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know how they got it.
Yeah, I don't either. They just posted up a deck list. And not only did they post up a deck list, but the unique cards in that deck, they like typed out at the bottom.
The thing that's a little sketch is if you have possession of this,
right?
It's 2020.
It is.
Why are you typing things? Why aren't you taking pictures of the cards?
Well, first off, when I found this, it was on Reddit. Yes. But it wasn't on like the normal Magic subreddit. It was on like some random Magic subreddit that nobody's ever on. It has like 100 members or whatever.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if by the time it made it to the normal Magic subreddit, it had some pictures with it.
Okay.
I think it was just like somebody didn't know what they were doing.
Gotcha.
Somebody computer illiterate or something, because like the subreddit that it went to was just MTG. It was r/MTG.
Okay.
It wasn't r/Magic whatever, TCG or whatever the like big one is. So I think it was probably just the first one that came up when they searched.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I think that's how that happened. We're not going to go through the whole commander deck list because like that's not a thing that we do here, at least not currently.
I watched 2 commander videos today.
Did you? What'd you watch?
I watched talking about changing the rules, and then like a whole discussion about CDH with some like CDH content creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's way more EDH content than I figured you'd be watching.
Yes. We were hard up for things on YouTube.
Okay. One of the things we did get out of this leak, though, was they had already named one of the new mechanics.
Okay.
And I forget who told us what it was going to be called, but it's Merge.
Okay.
There was a new card with Merge that had reminder text on it.
Yeah, I think there were 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was reading and I was like, what is Merge? And then I found one.
So we actually know what Merge is now. The reminder text for Merge says, this creature becomes an aura enchantment with enchant creature. Attach it and any number of auras enchanting it to target creature. Merge only as a sorcery. So Merge is an ability on creatures with a mana cost. So it'll be like colorless or a generic and a white. Merge, and then you do this. And you turn this thing into an enchantment and enchant one of your other creatures with it.
Yeah, it's kind of, like I said, it's like a Bronzehide Lion, where Bronzehide Lion has to die and it becomes an enchantment.
Yep.
This, you just get to pay a mana cost and make it an enchantment.
Yep.
So it would seem odd to me that we would have 2 sets in a row with like an enchantment / like auras matter theme. It just seems not right.
It's kind of weird.
I don't know how like supported like in the limited environment. Like, are you piling 6 auras on things and then merging them?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is it just like, well, this is how we want this to work, and since Theros was a set before, it just gets played in standard. We want people to like pile enchantments on their creature and then merge it with something else.
Yeah. Maybe we get a new Boggle.
Maybe. They are really loath to print like 1 and 2 mana hexproof creatures now.
Yeah.
Because apparently like Invisible Stalker just like ruined that format.
Yeah.
And then Glade Cover Scout.
Glade Cover Scout, yep.
What was that guy's name that played like a Johnny and just like Glade Cover Scout and just piled a bunch of enchantments onto the F&M like
Rich?
In like 2015. Yeah, so, but they are loath to do that kind of thing. But this is interesting. It's it kind of seems like this is what they wanted Meld to be, where 2 creatures kind of get stuck together.
I think maybe. Like, Meld, I think, was exactly what they wanted it to be.
But it was bad.
It was awful. Like, it wasn't good anywhere. It wasn't good in Limited. It wasn't good in Constructed. It was just a bad mechanic.
Get these 2 rares, and then they'll stick together.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And then they got a 1 removal spell? Sweet.
Yeah. I think that Meld was, like, exactly what they wanted Meld to be, though.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, in terms of it's what they wanted it to be, but this might be more playable. The idea of 2 creatures coming together.
Yeah.
And not having to have 2 specific creatures to stick together.
Yeah, this was, like, when they had, like, started talking about Ikoria, they said, like, build your own monster, or however they build it. I don't remember what exactly the verbiage was. But what popped into my mind was the... what were they called?
The Unstable.
Yeah, from Unstable.
Cat Monkey.
Yeah, Cat Monkey, Cute Kitty, whatever.
I don't remember what that mechanic was called.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called either. Host and Augment.
Yes.
That's what popped into my head. And, like, this isn't really a host augment, but it kind of is. Like, yeah, you're still taking, like, text from one card and, like, adding it to another card.
Because if you take a hound and then you stick it on a cat, you kind of made a cat dog.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So you did it. So, interesting.
Yeah, I got one question for you before we move on to our next topic.
Okay.
Knowing that this is a mechanic that's going to be in the next set.
Okay.
Is there any advice that we can give our listeners as far as specs? Like, Hateful Eidolon is going to... I mean, not that that's a spec, but that's going to get better, right?
Yeah.
Because all these things are going to be enchantment auras when the creature dies. Yes. And that's a way to, like, rebuy your card you had invested.
Yeah, I can't think of
I'm springing this on you, sorry.
You know, I can't think of any other things that are going to, like, go up and... They all basically be like Theros things.
Yeah.
or my spec that kind of paid off.
Yeah.
Starfield Mystic.
Does Starfield Mystic work?
When an enchantment leaves the battlefield, it gets a +1/+1 counter.
Oh, so it's still an enchantment when it leaves the battlefield.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I would think it is.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
Yeah.
So maybe that would be something.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't think of anything like the things that are like in the boggly kind of deck now. Success and Champion.
Yeah.
That's only on target, and like Sentinel's Eyes is a common.
Right.
That's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, Hateful Eidolon's an uncommon.
Yeah, those aren't going to go anywhere price wise.
Yeah. Do we have any like oddball protection spells? Not really, right? They're all commons or like Karametra's, whatever.
Karametra's Blessing.
Yeah, that's a common.
Yeah, there aren't any like other random things.
Yeah, I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if things that like destroy things that are large. So,
yeah, maybe.
Not that like Elspeth Conquers Death.
Yeah.
Is like a get in on the ground floor thing now because it's seeing a ton of play.
Right.
But anything like that, like some sort of like large conditional
Giant
removal.
Killer.
Giant Killer, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Epic Downfall, but that's like
that's a common.
That's still an uncommon, yeah.
So
yeah, there's nothing that like the rare thing range that I can think of.
Yeah, like I would say Calyx. Oh, well, Calyx actually does kind of work with this. Like he doesn't find these merge creatures, but he can turn them into O-rings.
Yeah, you can just then start sticking stuff under your creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything that comes to mind.
All right.
All right.
If we come up with anything, we'll blast it out there and keep you guys informed.
Or if you guys come up with something, let us know.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. You guys let us know what you think your specs are.
Thank you. I'm smart.
I had told you that I talked to George a little bit the last couple days. Yeah. One of the things that he sent back to me and actually just got an email right before we started recording was that he's interested in like learning how to like evaluate cards or whatever and how to tell whether something's good or bad or playable or not playable, whatever. So George, I want you to send me an email and I want you to tell me what you think is playable with this new merge mechanic.
There you go.
It's a test for you.
All right, so next up we've got Mystery Boosters coming to a store near you.
Oh, I am so excited. I've been waiting for this since we got back from
Richmond,
yeah. We had a blast drafting this at Richmond.
Yeah.
And I am super excited.
So Mystery Boosters, if you don't remember, is basically Wizards, I feel like, attempt to do cube. Like paper cube.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird hybrid between like a Chaos Draft and a cube.
Yeah, I think there are like definitely archetypes.
Yeah.
That are seated in the Mystery Boosters because I lost to some really good cohesive decks.
Yeah,
I was also taking all the playtest cards, but whatever.
But there's also like a lot of archetypes.
Yeah,
it's not like sitting down and drafting Theros where there's 10 archetypes. Like there might be 20 or 30 archetypes.
The reason we're saying that is is it 1,700 cards?
There's 1,700 cards in the base set. Plus 121 foil cards, plus 121 playtest cards.
So you won't be getting the playtest cards at your local game store.
Right.
The playtest cards are only in the convention packs.
Yep.
So in that spot for playtest cards is where you get the foil cards.
Yep. And the foil cards are cards that are not in the normal set. So they're an additional 121 cards. They just spoiled the foils. So we had the set list beforehand. We just got to know, 4 days ago, Thursday, I think, we got to know what the foils were going to be in the set. And although, looking at the list, the foils aren't all super desirable, they are all very expensive foils.
This is, I think, desirable is in the eye of the beholder. I think they're all, probably derived from Commander.
It could be. Or popular casual cards. I don't know about just Commander.
Yeah, but just cards that you look at and you're just like, eh. And then it's like, you look it up and what was it? Send Triplets is like $200?
Yeah, it was like $176 or something, yeah. I went through the card list and looked at what the cards were worth. Out of the 121 cards, there are only 20 cards off of this foil sheet that are currently worth less than what a booster back of Mystery Boosters costs. So Mystery Boosters are $6. Only 20 cards off of just the foil sheet are worth less than $6.
Yeah, was disciplined in taking playtest cards and passed the Carpet of Flowers, which is like $15.
Yeah.
That just randomly in the pack.
Yep.
There are value in these, but it is just an enjoyable thing to do.
Oh, yeah, they're so much fun. I plan on being at the game store almost bell to bell on Saturday. I will be there until nobody else wants to draft with me.
Yeah, if I do enough work around the house, I will hopefully earn some course release.
Yeah. And I think like the top 10 cards on the foil sheet are worth more than $40 a piece. So, it's like a 1 in 12 shot of, doubling your cost of entry.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Bad. And that's not counting the other 15 cards in the pack.
The collation of these packs is different.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? You get 2 of each color.
Yeah, so you get 2 red commons or uncommons, 2 black commons or uncommons, 2 blue commons or uncommons, 2 green commons or uncommons, and 2 white commons or uncommons.
And then is it 2 colorless ones as well, like an artifact and a land?
Yep, you get 2 that are either an artifact or a land, and then you get 1 card that's a rare or mythic from M15 forward in time, and 1 that's from M15 backward in time.
And then the foil makes 15 cards.
Yep.
So if you're drafting and if there's a black card missing,
mm-hmm.
like for 100% that the person beside you took a black card, because every pack is 2,
right.
2, 2, and 2.
Yep.
So we've talked about reading signals before.
Yeah, this is a good way to practice that.
Right, like when you get to your third pick,
mm-hmm.
that the 2 colors. If a common or uncommon is missing, the people beside you are in.
Right.
Because he's like, oh, there's a red uncommon missing, and there's a black uncommon missing. Well, someone's in red, someone's in black.
Yeah.
I should be blue-white or whatever.
That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought of that. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but you can definitely practice. Like, it's not going to help you in the rare slots.
Right.
But, like, later, especially deeper picks, you can start to see what starts going missing.
Yeah.
And make calls on what people are in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then, so we broke down, what the 15 slots in the pack are, but we said that there's they're just under 1,700 cards in the base set.
Yeah.
And that's because each slot in the pack comes from its own 121 card sheet. Your first red common or uncommon is going to come from a separate sheet of 121 cards. Your second red common or uncommon is going to come from a separate sheet of 121 cards. The way that kind of works is that it basically makes everything in the set the same rarity.
Yeah.
So you have the same chance of pulling a mana vault as you do a dark ritual.
Okay.
It's just kind of weird the way that works,
yes.
But that's how that works out.
Yeah, and just have fun with these. It is a fun format.
Yeah, lots of fun.
But there is random value
mm-hmm.
in the set.
Yeah, I think when we drafted in Richmond, I ended up with a Colligan's Command, a Perforos, and a Collective Brutality, which those 3 cards paid for all of our drafts.
I got 20 playtest cards. Some of which are not good.
Yeah, they're cool,
but they're unique, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I might have something going on Friday that just came up, but I'll probably be there Saturday for sure and play a bunch.
Yep, I'm going to try and play as much as I can. I got a free weekend. My wife's headed out of town this weekend, so.
All right, so that's Mystery Boosters.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we end the series on our financial hot takes.
Yep, this is, we've already done Guilds, Allegiance, and War of the Spark.
Yes.
This is Core 20. Now, I told you right before we started recording today that I had to go through and redo all these prices because almost every single card on this list has lost $1 to $2 in value since I made this price list 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking to move any of these cards, I would move them and not sit on them.
Yes.
Start at the top.
Yeah.
Chandra Awakened Inferno. This is 6 mana Chandra.
Yes.
Currently $12.50. What are we doing with Big Chandra?
Probably moving it. He's going to settle at that Planeswalker $5.
I agree.
It only is played sparingly in some legacy Mono Red Prison deck, so it's whatever.
6 mana is a lot for any of the other formats. like Elspeth's Son's Champion is fantastic and rarely sees play.
Yes.
And this is probably worse than Elspeth's Son's Champion.
Probably. It doesn't stabilize you as well.
Yeah. So I would come off of these. If you like the card and want to sit on a couple, maybe buy back into them at release. Like, we've kind of said this for all of these sets, but like maybe keep set a reminder on your phone for September or October.
Yeah, when rotation happens.
Buy back into some of these cards, especially the ones that you sold out of if you want to, rebuy into them. Like doing that on your phone is kind of a good way to do that. You can forget about it and your phone will remind you.
Next up, the next Planeswalker, Ajani Strength of the Plot Pride, also basically $12.50.
Yep.
Definitively worse than Chandra. Sees played nowhere?
No, it sees
some standard plays sometimes.
Some, not much.
I feel like Heliod kind of took its spot.
Yeah. The Heliod, well, it saw play alongside Heliod.
Okay.
It plays nice with Heliod because it gains life for its +1, and the Pride Mates interact well with giving things life link. So.
Yeah, but I think you can just get rid of it. I don't see it getting played like anywhere else.
No, you can definitely come off of it.
Next up is the next Planeswalker.
Which is also $12, right at, same price.
Sorin Imperious Bloodlord. I think I got rid of mine when they were like 30 because I was like, I'm not going to buy more of these to play this god-awful Vampires deck.
Yep.
This is probably also a sell. There is a mono black Vampires deck in Pioneer that people are saying was like kind of better than just mono black aggro, but I don't know if it's...
Also, like Vampires in Modern has been...
A fringy deck.
A fringy deck that's really only a couple pieces away from being an actual deck.
Yeah.
So I would say you're probably safe to come off of these, but this is another one that if it gets down to $4 or $5, you might want to buy a couple play sets because I would not be surprised if at some point this card was very expensive again. Especially
going into Zendikar.
Yeah.
With their propensity to have vampires.
Yeah, Kalidas.
Kalidas, yes.
Next up, we have Cavalier of Thorns, the green one. It's sitting at $11.20.
I was so wrong about this card. But anyway, again, like it's 5 mana. It's not going to get played like other formats.
Right.
So probably can get off of it.
I agree.
I probably won't get off of mine because that might be my plan for
Charlotte.
Is Cavalier of Thorning people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably not going to come off of mine because of Charlotte. But yeah, if you're not playing them, they're not going to hold this price.
No,
so
not
you can
at all.
Come off of them. After that, we have Vivian Arcbow Ranger at $10.44.
This one's weird because there is right now a mono green Planeswalkers. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, I think so.
Deck floating around that LSV streamed a video on.
Yep. Which Karn the Great Creator to go nutty.
On Magic Online.
It has
not found its way into paper going crazy yet. But, and Vivian gets played in like all these green decks because she's just so good with Nykthos.
Yeah, she plays good in the Green Devotion decks.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she's a little harder in terms of like, do you get rid of her or not?
I don't know that we're at the bottom yet, but I don't know that she loses a ton more value.
Yeah, if she goes to $8, like, was it worth it to get your like...
Like, fringe playable Planeswalkers are worth $10.
Yes.
So I don't know that she goes much lower than where she is now if she, sees any play anywhere else.
Agreed.
Yep.
So you could probably hold on to them if you have them. If you're going to be someone who plays Pioneer. If you're a standard-only player.
Yep. Get rid of them.
Yeah. Leyline of the Void.
Yeah.
$10.
What do you think about Leyline of the Void?
This is strangely, I want to say buy. Because this is the cheapest Leyline of the Void has been for a while.
So oddly enough, I have already been buying Leyline of the Voids. So I'm glad you said buy.
Yeah, like for Leyline of the Void before this reprint was $50.
I mean, during Hogak, it was more than $50.
Yeah, absurd.
Yeah.
And I have like 2 foils that I got from this reprinting.
Yeah.
And the art's cool.
Yeah, the art is really nice.
Not as good as the original.
It's not guild-packed, but yeah.
But yeah, I think like if you want to spec, this is a card that, I know it's hard to like spend $100 on 10 of them.
Right.
In hopes that in 3 years you can turn it into $500.
Right. But this is totally the thing that you could turn into $500 in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's going to be a card that's just that will go up, that will reach that point of like not having enough supply because they got Leyline of Sanctity got cheap when it got reprinted in Modern Masters. Not that there's nearly as many cards in the Modern Masters as there are in a standard set. And then that card went from like $5 or $10 back up to like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the 2 playable ley lines do.
Yeah. Yeah, I have already been buying these at 10. 10 is probably not the bottom. It probably goes a touch lower, but there's going to be plenty of meat left on the bone. I say buy.
Yeah. Lotus Field at $8.
Yep.
Derives 0 value from Standard.
Yep, all from Pioneer.
It's all from Pioneer.
Maybe secretly best deck in Pioneer according to some pros.
Yeah. It depends on what the metagame looks like. I think Lotus Field definitely has like an old affinity in Modern kind of thing where if like people like cut their hate cards because your deck hasn't done well for 3 weeks, then you win the tournament.
Yep.
Because no one has the hate for you. Same kind of thing. Like if you're gonna play Pioneer, I think you could probably buy these. Like they're gonna hold their value.
Yeah, I think like right at $7-8 is a pretty decent place to buy in. It's a commander card too. Like if you can find some cheap foils, I'd probably pick some cheap foils up if you can, come across them. I think this is probably near-ish the bottom.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about picking up a play set, you're probably safe here.
Yorok the Desecrated.
Yep, this is EDH All-Star.
Okay, I didn't know. I assumed it was.
Yeah, it's reverse Panharmonicon, man.
What do you mean reverse? I thought they did the same thing.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, you're right.
It is the Sultai it's Panharmonicon.
Yeah, it's just Panharmonicon.
It seems like, again, this is only getting value from Brawl, if that's a thing, in Commander.
Yep, not seeing much play in Standard, so its price is probably pretty stable. I don't know that you need to come off them. You're not going to lose any money coming off them, or if you sit on them. So, but I don't know that it's a buy either. I don't know how high this goes in the extended future, 2 years, whatever. So I would call this one a whatever. Like, I don't think it matters either way. Next up, we got a Cavalier of Flame at $4.47.
For $7.47.
Isn't that what I said?
You said 4.
Oh, sorry.
We can lump these two together. Cavalier of Flame and Cavalier of Night. Basically the same price.
Yep.
And sell them. Get rid of them. Not playable in other formats.
Unfortunately. They're sweet, but aren't going to see play anywhere else.
Field of the Dead.
$6.50.
Basically, they're getting their value from Modern.
Yeah, I mean, they're banned everywhere else, so.
Yeah, probably get off of them if you're not going to play Modern.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of people playing Modern right now.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't see them going up a ton.
I mean, in the real long term, maybe.
Yeah, but
not within the next year or two, though.
First uncommon.
Yeah.
Veil of Summer at $5.36.
Get rid of them.
Yeah, they're gonna get banned out of every format.
Yeah, I mean they're already well on their way there.
Yeah, I've got my foils, and now I feel sad.
Sorry, buddy.
That's right.
Cavalier Gales, $5.31.
He gone.
Yep, same story as the other ones. And I would actually argue that this one's worse than the other two. So, if you liked any of the Cavaliers, this one's not the one.
Yeah, notice how it's the blue one is the worst one. Oh, the one with the forest? Good. Swamp's good. Mountain's good. Island's bad.
Well, I mean, I actually kind of like the white one, too, but
yeah,
the blue one's just bad. So get rid of it.
Leyline of Anticipation?
$5.08.
I feel like this card has existed for a while.
It has existed for a very long time.
And I feel like
it was expensive before the reprint.
Okay, I feel like no one's played it. I mean, it could, but...
It was expensive before the reprint, and there's also that new, or I guess not new, but the other version of the inverter.
Mono blue inverter deck.
Yeah. Plays this. So I don't know. I think you're probably pretty safe to come off of them. This set put a lot more of them around, and there's nowhere near the demand for this one as there are Leyline of the Void, Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah.
So they're probably pretty safe to come off of.
Next up, Voracious Hydra.
Yeah, skip the card.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Knight of the Ebon Legion.
Yeah, $4.84.
This one's also a hard one. There seems like there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And you have... Well, they're in the Challenger deck too, right?
Yeah, there's 2 in the Challenger deck.
So, I don't know. You could probably get off of these.
I would get off of them right now. I would make sure that you had them again by this time next year, though.
Yeah.
Because I think... shortly after rotation, they're going to start coming up again.
Voracious Hydra this time.
Yep, $4.02.
Again, good in all the Green Devotion decks?
Yep, same places that Vivian was good.
So if those decks are good, I think it has a home?
Yeah, I think $4 is high for this card,
so do
though.
I.
I would come off of them.
I feel like it's like they're gonna print something that does the same thing at some point. Like it's not super unique what it does.
Right. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame. This is the 3-mana rare Chandra. $3.99.
Probably get off of it. I don't see it being played anywhere.
I don't know. I kind of like this card.
Okay. I guess we don't know what like rare planeswalkers do price wise.
Right.
Also, like, are they just gonna is it gonna keep value because it's a planeswalker?
Yeah.
Or is it gonna fall off because it's just a rare?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This one has a home like at casual tables because of the plus ability that nobody ever uses.
Yes.
The put a counter on every Chandra you control.
Every red planeswalker.
Sure, yeah, every red planeswalker, which is also something that like hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
The elementals are like the bread and butter of this card. So it goes into elemental decks, it goes into sacrifice decks, it goes into mono red aggro decks.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of different homes for it. And then like rebuying a card is good also, like this third ability, Snapcaster or whatever, especially if you can plus it a couple times to get you value.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this one didn't go a whole lot lower. But, if you're not planning on playing it, you should come off it anyway and just, forget about the risk.
Rotting Regisaur.
$3.75. Reggie!
I feel like you can get rid of it. Maybe I'm a little too aggressive. I mean, it is an odd card. Did it say 7/6 for 3 mana?
3 mana, 7/6. So, like, every couple sets, we get one of these way undercosted giant creatures with a downside. We had, like, Lupine Prototype.
Yes.
Was a 2 mana 5/5. I'm trying to think of what else we had.
Mere Servitor.
Yeah.
A 2 mana 5/5 you can only cast if your mana came from creatures.
Yep. We got this thing. This is probably, like, the most playable one out of all of them.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to revert to what we said when we did the card valuations for this set. If keyword big is good, this card is good.
Yes.
If keyword big is not good, this card is very bad.
Yes. I
think that just about every format is in a place where keyword big is not good.
Yeah.
So, you're probably safe to get rid of them.
Omnath, Locus of the Royal.
$3.75. What do we think about Omnath?
I mean, he was printed to be a commander card, and I feel like he is a commander card.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I don't know that he's as popular as he used to be. I definitely don't think that there's a Pioneer version of that deck.
No. And
the modern version of this deck looks very different from an Omnath deck.
Yes.
It's like the Skelemental deck, Lightning Skelemental, which is not an Omnath deck.
That deck's not even really a deck, from what I've seen.
Well, right, but it's like the closest elemental deck. I would say you're probably safe to get rid of Omnath.
Yeah.
We have Agent of Treachery at $3.74.
I don't think this card is going to get played like anywhere else, but Commander.
I got to keep mine because I might play him in Charlotte, but
yeah,
he's not going to see play anywhere else. He can go away.
The Pizza Oven, Mystic Forge.
$3.49. This card is way less good without Mox Opal.
It is. And, like, if Legacy's a format, this card does something. And if it's not, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do anything in any other format.
I will counter and say that I think Vince put a video out late last week sometime about mono white Teshar.
Yes. Where he pizza oven someone? Yeah, I watched that one.
Oh, I didn't actually watch the gameplay. Did he pizza oven someone?
Yeah, he basically played his entire deck.
Yeah. The deck is basically EDH Bomberman.
Yes.
Like it's Legacy Bomberman, but in EDH. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of hype around this card, like in the very near future. But long term, I think it's basically bulk.
Yeah.
So probably safe to come off of them. Leyline of Sanctity is $3.28.
Another probably buy.
I have also been buying every Leyline of Sanctity I can find.
Yeah, this is where this card is $3 and then it becomes $15, $20 in a year or two.
Yep. So Leyline of Sanctity, Leyline of the Void. Buy as many copies as you can. You will thank me later. Your future self will thank me later.
Yes.
Shifting Ceratops, $3.26. Sell. Will not see play anywhere. Cavalier of Dawn, $3.16.
I also say sell.
Yeah, this one I could see I could see some deck doing something with it. Like occasionally there's rumblings of like a blink deck that uses like is it Master Splicer, Blade Splicer?
Blade Splicer is the...
Yeah. I could see something like this in like that style deck with like Ephemerate and like New Thassa or something. But I don't know that it's ever going to be worth more than the $3 it's at now.
Yeah.
So...
Mu Yanglin!
Yeah, the last Planeswalker from this set, $3.16.
I'm guessing that eventually maybe she goes to the $5 price memory, but not for a long time.
I don't think she's good.
Yeah.
Can probably go away. Kethis the Hidden Hand, $2.76.
I'm biased. I think the card is potentially broken at some point.
I do too. I would probably buy these at like $2.50, $3.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to go much lower. If it does go lower, if you can get these around $1, I'd buy every one you can.
Yes.
We'll see play again at some point. Golos Tireless Pilgrim, $2.67.
I think this is only playable in Commander.
Mm-hmm. It's a really good commander.
Yeah, it is. It's too good to be a Brawl commander.
That's right.
I don't know. You could probably get these. I mean, it's a rare, which kind of pushes down its value some, but if you held on to them, maybe just hold them if you have them. Again,
I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped to like $1.50, $2, but I don't think they're going to go much more than that. And, you're going to lose the 60, 70 cents through fees. So
yeah.
You're probably safe to sit on them.
Aethergust. $2.51.
Yeah, another uncommon.
It sees play everywhere.
It's a really good hate card if you're in the market for a hate card.
So, I don't know. But how much of its value comes from Standard?
Probably a good bit.
So, like, if you got off of them...
I might sell your extra copies and sit on a play set.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yep. Kaikar Winds Fury, $2.50.
Has anyone played this card ever?
Yeah, actually, it's a pretty nasty EDH deck.
Okay.
It's like a Storm Spellslinger deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
But that's the only place to see his play, and it is certainly not my style deck, so I would not hesitate to get rid of him.
Gotcha.
Nightpack Ambusher, $2.50.
Play it off of it, it's not getting played anywhere else?
Not only that, but there's copies in
the new
one of the Challenger decks. Yeah. So, yeah, I would come off of this as well. Steel Overseer, $2.32.
I bought my Steel Overseers at like $10 like 2 years ago.
Yep.
I don't know, like, is Affinity ever going to be good in Modern again? Probably not.
Well, I don't know if like Affinity as we knew it will ever be good again, especially without Opal. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of construct deck at some point, or artifact deck with lots of artifact creatures,
I guess, like,
or whatever.
Hardened Scales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If these go much lower, I'm going to start buying them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you might be safe coming off it if you want to save yourself, 50, 70 cents, whatever. But I don't think it's going to go much lower than this. No. Card's great.
Temple of Epiphany, the first temple.
The only temple.
On the list. The only temple.
Yep. It means all of the other ones are less than $2.
$2.29.
Yep. What do you think about Temple of Epiphany?
These just, like, aren't played anywhere.
Yeah, they weren't ever played in Modern.
Not in Modern.
They're not.
Temple of Deceit.
Oh, that's true.
That was the only one that got played. Yeah. Temple, and maybe Temple of Silence in...
Temple of Triumph saw a little bit of play.
Ad nauseum. And Temple of Triumph, very fringe play. They were all like $1.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you get off of these, they're going to be $1 at some point. There's also, though, they just, like, you have them... Lands are always worth something.
Yeah. I would sell extras.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to sell, like, down to none.
Yeah, I think I got rid of all my extras when I started out. So,
what do you think about like half of the temples rotating? Like, that's kind of weird, right?
It is. We're gonna get to. It's gonna be like it was in like M20.
Yeah.
Standard and what's it called? M20 and Throne of Eldraine Standard.
Yeah.
Where like some color pairs had reasonable mana and other color pairs didn't.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to end up is like there's going to be one color pair. There'll be like half the color pairs are just going to have atrocious mana.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we don't know what the next lands are going to be, but losing shock lands is a big thing, too.
Yeah, like you lose your shocks and half your temples, like they've got to give us something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you're not going to be able to like cast your spells in like some color pairs.
Yep. Next up, we have Scheming Symmetry at $2.25.
Okay. I think hold and buy if they get cheaper because, again, unique, weird effect.
I have already been buying them.
Okay.
I have maybe 35 or 40 of them.
Okay.
I think this card is sweet, and I don't think it's had a card that breaks it yet, but the card that breaks it's coming, and it's super cheap, and the artwork's awesome, and I would buy every one you can find.
Okay.
I've been buying them between like $3 and $4. I'm actually kind of glad they're on their way down.
Gotcha. And then the last one,
last card on the
$2.14.
Yeah, Starfield Mystic.
I am getting rid of all of mine.
Yep.
As
you should.
Got in on them at 43 cents and 49 cents a piece, and I have 40 of them.
Very good.
So them going to $2 and then turning into like $1.50 or something in store credit.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep. Especially with the CFB's promotion right now.
Yeah, they're going to get a stack of Starfield Mystics. I'm going to, here you go, guys.
Nice.
LSV sort these. Let's go.
Yeah, it's probably LSV in the warehouse.
Probably.
So what do we got next?
So next up is Arena. Mm-hmm. There was a state of the game announcement this week. We're going to circle back to that next week because we're already pretty deep in this episode.
Yep.
We'll put that towards the front next time so we don't lose out on it again.
Yeah, this was a weird episode. Sorry about this.
That's fine. The data for this week, we had 49 games played. And so what I was happy about was a few things. One, our off meta is somehow 4%.
That's awesome.
And then our meta looks pretty similar to the meta for the GP in, what was it, Leon?
Leon, yeah.
Yeah. So for us, for good old casual tryhard 2, we had 20% mono red, 22% blue green X ramp.
Okay.
So that kind of encompasses Sultai and Bant. And if anyone just playing like blue green in general.
Right.
Then we had a lot of Jeskai Fires, 14%. Then blue white Control was 12%. Mm-hmm. And I guess Red Black Sacrifice was pretty big too at 16%. So that was basically the like 5 decks.
Yeah.
If you compare that to the Leon metagame, Mono Red was 17%. Mm-hmm. Bant mid-range / ramp was 12%. And if you like stick it together with Sultai mid-range, that gets like 16%. So similar to ours.
Yep.
Teamer Adventures we would have a lot of was 10%. Mm-hmm. Azorius Control was 10%, so right in kind of line with us.
Yep.
So kind of what we put together is similar to what like they had. Like I think the thing that we have least like is Teamer Adventures, but like our top 5 decks, were kind of the top 5 decks from the tournament.
Perfect. Nice job, everybody.
Not too bad at all. Yeah, so checking in on good old casual tryhard Sultai. Mm-hmm. I like mess with it and I was like, okay, let me take out Fossa and Agents and do some other stuff. Yeah. Like the Bant deck just goes bigger than you now. It's annoying. Like it's like, oh gosh, I forgot how like ridiculous Nissa is. Like, oh, you get Nissa and you get Elspeth Conqueror's Death. Oh.
That's why you just got to steal it.
Yeah. And I was like, let me try Pelucranos. I think Pelucranos is good, but not better than Agent.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're kind of on track. Going back to tinfoil hat mono red theories. Yeah. I switched back to playing mono red. My metagame's about 60% mono red right now. It's just like mono red. Ooh, something random. Mono red.
I mean, it's got to be something with like matchmaking.
Yeah. But I was just like, oh, we're back to all mono red all the time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, and then like I switched to I played some like with like a different brew and way less mono red. Yeah. It's like, So yeah, my tinfoil hat is all shined up. I'm good to go here. So yeah. So other than that, I think that there's I guess today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So sorry everyone, is the last is the next workshop.
Yeah. Which I didn't play this past one.
This one looks horrific.
Yeah, what's this one?
It's big red. So, like, lava coils and just big red creatures versus Clone Gary. It's a blue-black deck that has quasi-replicate and something else.
Oh, this is the precons. Yeah.
And your goal is to play a Gray Merchant and then copy it.
Okay.
like you're just like playing. I'm just like, oh my gosh, these look awful. Who thought this was a good idea? It's like Yurok Fenlurker because it's black. I'm going to quasi-replicate that and get you another card. I was like, oh my god.
For $10, you can play this awful format.
Well, no, it's this one's free.
Oh, this one's free?
The workshops are free. Okay. They're just like 2-day readable.
The last one was 2,500 coins or whatever.
Oh, it wasn't that much.
Yeah, it was.
Oh god, it was?
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it.
Oh lord, I can't believe I spent that much on it.
I'm sorry, it's not the workshop. That was the
that's the
Heliod's trial.
Yeah, that's the festival.
Yeah, the festival.
This is like 250 or something. It's not very much.
I gotcha.
So it looks bad.
Yeah.
Will I like hate play it? Sure.
Probably.
But yeah, it doesn't seem good. Yeah, so not a ton on Arena. There hasn't been a lot going on.
Yeah.
We do like.
There is the state of the game stuff.
Yeah, we do have it's like a half hour if we did that. So yeah,
we're running a little long, so we'll circle back to that next week.
And so with that, I think that's pretty much everything. So we can, if you want to get at us and tell us, why didn't you go over the state of the game? You can tweet at us at Casual Tripod on Twitter.
Yep, you can find us on Facebook at Casual Tryhard MTG. If you want to shoot us an email, show at casualtryhardmtg.com is where you can do that. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg. Make sure if you're ordering any cards, use our TCG affiliate link at tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. And anything else?
No, my wife has texted me that dinner's ready.
Okay, you better go eat some dinner.
Yeah. So with that, we'll catch you at F&M.
Yep, we'll catch you at F&M.